You know what time it is? It's time for Shah and it's time for Shisha. Brandan, did your mum drop to you at birth? Because I think that's exactly what has happened to you. There is no way anybody would accept the way this woman is treating you. Brandan, there's something's wrong with you. Hi, my name is Miss Iffy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget subscribe and hit the notification button. I'm here to give you the update all about the 90-day fiancé, the story of Brandan and Mary. Oh my God, these two. I mean, seriously, this girl scammed this guy and he's in denial. So we get back to where he met her. I think that's where I left the last story, haven't I? Yeah. So the next episode 4, he gets to her house. Well, actually it's his house because he paid for it. $60,000 he sent this woman, and that house is not even on his name. And the house is lived by her grandparents, which he now have to ask her permission to do anything. Imagine the audacity that you have to ask her permission to do things in your own home. Wow. Reality. And this guy, Brandan, is so polite and respectful. Mary, like, come on, Mary, can you not please stop ruining this good guy? He's going to be scarred for life by the time this relationship finishes. But then she might even do some fatal attraction if he breaks up with her. Anything she does will not surprise me. So Brandan gets to meet their grandparents. He gets to see the house, which is full of bugs and... which I must say, I'm very, very, very surprised that he hasn't complained. Because usually the US citizens, when they go to another country and they see that living condition, they make some kind of smart, remarkable, and they think they're too big and etc. But no, he was so like, he just looked around the house and he said, obviously there is few things that needs to be done. Fair. He understands the grandparents living there. Fair. Even though it's ideally, original plan was him and her to live there. She tells him that he now has to ask permission in order for them to share the same room. Here's Brandan, who got his favorite boxes. This guy bought a really nice pair of boxers for their first night together. And then he gets to find out that is not going to be happening. And the fact that he has to ask the grandparents for permission if he can share the room with her. And then the grandfather said, yes, but no funny business. No touching, no kissing, no nothing. And what she does is that she agrees to sleep next to him, but for her head to be on one side and his head to be on the other side. And you know what? The way he accepted that. But what was really disappointing was when he woke up in the morning and found out that she left the bed and slept in the living room. You should have seen his eyes. He was so disappointing. This girl is not into this guy at all. She had 2 years to tell him that she's religious, the fact that she's never been intimate with anybody else, the fact that she believes that she won't be doing that until she gets married. And the most funniest thing out of all of this, that when they were talking for that 2 years, we find out as the audience that they have been over the phone intimacy between the two of them. This girl, oh my God. Listen, Mary, if you're watching this, okay, you need to run a class of how to hassle and scam men like Brandan. I think you do a great job running a class like that. I'm sure there is girls around the world who would want to know how you managed to do that. Yeah, unfortunately, he finds out all of those things. And then he asks her, can he tell the grandparents that he kissed her? And Mary said no. Which the first time I agree with her, because I think she's afraid of her grandparents and that she doesn't think is a good idea, because the grandparents would think that he broke the rules. Yeah. And then she wakes up in the morning in order to make up for him. She cooks food for him, but she decides to overfeed him. She wants Brandan to get fat so she can cuddle him. According to her, no, that's not what she's doing. According to her, she wants him to be fat. Choppy, she says. That's the word she used. Choppy, so she can cuddle him more, even though she hasn't even cuddled him yet. She prefer for him to be chubby. What that really says to me as a viewer is that she wants him to be fat so she can manipulate him and make him feel he's not attractive anymore. She has an agenda. This girl does not do anything. Not once have I seen her do something kind and nice to Brandan. And we're on what? Episode 6? Not once. So, and he feels like uncomfortable regarding that. But one thing, Brandan, why can you not say no? Not once have I heard Brandan stand up for himself and say no to her. He just follows her like a puppy, anything she says. And then there's a scene where she decided, she tells him that, let's go to the day you're going to be working in a farm with my granddad. And her duty is to feed the pigs. Wow. Again, Brandan, well done to you, respect to you. He goes and does it. And then there's a scene where they got to meet her friends, and her friends start telling him, like, why are you jealous of her hanging around with us? And he says, I don't have an issue. Well, technically, he never had an issue. But he says, but why is she allowed to hang out with you guys and I'm not even allowed to hang out with my own family? That's why I'm jealous, because she's at the beach having fun with you guys and I cannot even sit down well, he cannot. That's what he should really have said. But he did say it, but he never mentioned the family. He just said, well, I know. And the friends said, how do you know she hang around with us at the beach? And he said, because she tells me everything and we don't have any secrets. Then her friends start throwing the shade. They threw her under the bus. Like, seriously, Mary, they threw her under the bus. They like, do you know what happens when she tells you she has a power cut? There's no power cut. She switches the phone off and she switches the internet off so she can come to the beach and hang out with us. And then she tells you it's got a power cut and she lies to you. Yeah, no, that scene was absolutely hilarious. But again, Brandan, why are you not waking up? Like, the amount of red flags this girl, and the excuses, no intimacy, you must ask my grandparents for permission to hold my hand. Oh, wow. He tells the grandparents that they had a kiss, and then the granddad has now told him, now that they kissed, that he wants Brandan and her to arrange a marriage, start organizing their wedding. And poor Brandon, he's like, I only kissed her and now been pushed to go and marry her. Wow, Brandon, like seriously, oh, somebody help him. His mum was right. Yeah. And that was it. There was one more crazy thing that happens. They go to church and he finds out, but that was the next episode. Enough is enough. Bye. I feel like she scammed him.